All right, welcome back to the Tough Challenge. And this is week 7, our final week, and this is day 20. So it's the second day of this week. And we're going to go back to time takers a little bit. And this is going to seem like such a strange way, um, but you'll understand it when we get to the end. So I'm talking about what is enough. And we've talked about time takers and things that take our time and prioritizing and determining, what do you want to put time is a valuable thing in our lifetime, because we all know that we have limited time, and none of us gets out of this alive. That's there is an end. And for Christianity, that for me, it's an end that is marks a new beginning, but um, but there is an end of the world and the life that we know, as these corporeal beings. And so, what is enough? And I love this. I actually saw a version of this, and I love Jimmy John's. It's like one of my favorite sandwiches. The Vito is my favorite. So, little guilty pleasure. And I read this once on the wall waiting for a sandwich, and I found this, and I just thought it was such an amusing story, and it had such a great message that I wanted to read it for you today. So this is Paulo Colo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And it's The Fisherman and the Businessman. And I read a version of this, on a wall at a Jimmy John's. So it says, there once was a businessman who was sitting by the beach in a small Brazilian village. As he sat, he saw a Brazilian fisherman rowing a small boat towards the shore, having caught quite a few big fish. The businessman was impressed and asked the fisherman, "How long does it take you to catch so many fish?" The fisherman replied, "Oh, just a short while." "Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?" The businessman was astonished. "This is enough to feed my whole family," the fisherman said. The businessman then asked, "So, what do you do for the rest of the day?" The fisherman replied, "Well, I usually wake up early in the morning, go out to sea and catch a few fish, then go back and play with my kids. In the afternoon, I take a nap with my wife, and the evening comes and I enjoy my buddies in the village. I join my buddies in the village for a drink. We play guitar, sing, and dance throughout the night." The businessman offered a suggestion to the fisherman. "I am a PhD in business management. I could help you become a more successful person. From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. When you have saved enough money, you could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish. Soon, you will be able to afford to buy more boats, set up your own company, your own production plant for canned food and distribution network. By then, you will have moved out of this village into Sao Paulo, where you can set up headquarters to manage your other branches." The fisherman continues, "And after that?" The businessman laughs heartily. "After that, you can live like a king in your own house. And when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares in the stock exchange, and you will be rich." And the fisherman asks, "And after that?" The businessman says, "After that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village, wake up early in the morning, catch a few fish, then return home to play with kids. Have a nice afternoon nap with your wife. And when evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink, play the guitar, sing and dance throughout the night." The fisherman was puzzled. "Isn't that what I'm doing now?" So it actually got me a little emotional because I wish I would have read this earlier in my life. Um, because you need to set what is your enough. You know, sometimes you reach for things and you pursue things that you think are going to get you to an end that, like this fisherman, you could be living today. So set your enough, set parameters to your enough, and don't let anyone tell you that your dream needs to be something else so that you can end up just where you're at. And sometimes your enough is just that, it's enough. So I love this story, and I hope that it helps you to really take a look at what is your enough and what takes time away from the things in your life that really matter. And like this fisherman, sit back and realize that sometimes your enough is just that, it's enough. And the rest of your time can be spent with the people that matter most. Because very rarely in this life do we get to the end and say things like, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have spent more hours at the office. Normally, you get to the end of your life and you say, I wish I would have spent more time with fill in the blank. So do that now. Think of that simple fisherman story and don't let anyone take you off of that path. It doesn't need to be anybody else's dream. It needs to be your dream. And it needs to give you and allow you to have the things like that fisherman that got up, had enough food to feed his family, and then spent time with that family today, not tomorrow. Don't wait. Set your enough and make people respect your enough. Set your boundaries. All right. I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. A couple more tomorrows before we end this 7-week tough challenge. Bye.